What's up everybody, this is Master Ian Gamer, and right now it's roughly 1 month after the reveal of Ashe and her release onto PTR. She's since then already hit live servers and most recently has even made her way into competitive. So now that everyone's had a fair amount of time to try out the new hero in various modes and get over the newness factor of her, I want to analyze her mechanics, role, and design once again to see where she stands now. Is she still a solid DPS pick? Or maybe she's not quite holding up anymore. The first aspect I want to discuss is her abilities and mechanics. I'll keep this part brief since there's not a whole lot to say that hasn't been said by me and many others in the past, but after a month of playing as, with, and against her, has my perspective changed? Well, for one thing, Bob's not nearly as scary or OP as he once seemed. While he undeniably can have a huge impact if used properly, he's also quite easy to counter in a lot of situations. He's particularly vulnerable to displacement abilities, as they can easily move him out of the way or into a corner where he can't effectively contest or deal damage. On top of that, barrier heroes can easily block him from doing any damage, so you definitely need to be smart about where and when you pop him out. Because of all this, I really don't see Bob being tremendously effective at higher levels of play, since more than anything he seems to punish bad positioning. As long as the enemy's grouped up around their Ryan or Orisa, he won't offer a whole lot of value, especially considering how long it takes to charge him. The one other Ashe ability I want to draw attention to is the Dynamite. While it's a unique ability in a lot of ways, I can see this easily being either slightly nerfed or tweaked in such a way as to make it less annoying. While I'm glad that we can finally set people on fire in Overwatch, maybe it can still be adjusted in some way. One thing I noticed that I've seen others address as well is how quickly the burn effect deals damage. Currently, the burn effect deals 100 damage over the course of 5 seconds. While I think the total damage is probably fine, I might like to see the duration lengthened a bit to deal 100 damage over 7 seconds or something. Basically, it would just give you a bit more time to either reach a health pack or alert your healers once you're on fire. Not a big change, but this is something that I think Blizzard could possibly take a look at. Moving past her abilities, the next thing I want to address is her story impact. Now again, this is something that me and others have brought up in the past, but I thought it'd be worthwhile to readdress it real quickly. Ashe has one of the smallest impacts on the overarching story out of anyone. The only character she has any significant ties with is McCree, and to that extent, her existence doesn't even really expand his character a whole lot. Outside of just character connections, Ashe does tell us more about the Deadlock Gang. I'll never turn away more exposition regarding the Overwatch universe's many groups and factions, but ultimately, she does little to progress or flesh out anything in the main Recall or Overwatch storylines. And to be fair, not every hero needs to. If a hero has a fun character or gameplay design, then I'm still more than happy to have them in the game, and that holds entirely true for Ashe. However, it is a bit of a bummer to think we still have to wait 3 more months simply for another chance to get a story progressing hero. But given the overall state of the game's story, that's really nothing new at this point. Now though, let's talk about her real impact on the game and community. This is less of how she's balanced mechanically or how good she is, but more so how she actually affects the game from any given player's perspective. One of the more concerning things I've seen happen in this regard is that it appears she has joined Widowmaker and Hanzo in terms of being insta-locked heroes. The past few weeks, I've seen countless teams where these 3 snipers were picked immediately when the match starts and never swap, regardless of circumstances. And at this point, I don't think it has to do with her just being new. Now, this could be a pretty hot topic of debate. On the one hand, you can't really critique a hero for just having an appealing playstyle. If these heroes, Ashe included, weren't fun to play, they wouldn't be constantly picked like this. However, when it's so bad that you can bet money on having these 3 in almost every match, it really starts to negatively impact the game for many players. I've noticed that the trend of DPS like this getting constantly insta-locked seems to coincide with periods of time where the community is in low morale, or when something about the game at the time feels very badly balanced. To that extent, the reason we're seeing so many people play selfishly now by one-tricking heroes like this may actually have more to do with the recent Brigitte debacle and developer radio silence than Ashe herself. Just because she's joined the ranks of Widow and Hanzo may signify less about her and more about the state of the game overall. I'm very intrigued and hopeful to see if the abundance of snipers subsides when the Winter Wonderland event goes live next week and people in the community finally have something more positive to talk about. about. But while on the topic of game balance in the state of Overwatch, the other real impact Ashe has had is her role. Yes, she is a fun hero, but she's yet another DPS. This has been an issue for so long now, where the game is horribly lacking tank and support heroes. Having so few options in these two roles drastically increases the rate at which players burn out playing these heroes, thus causing many people to fall back on DPS heroes just to try and have fun. This plays directly into the insta-locking sniper problem, and overall results in a hindered gameplay experience where players are less inclined to play as a team regardless of game mode. And to this extent, you do have to kinda admit that it's at least partially Ashe's fault by her being a DPS instead of a tank or support. I hate for this video to have to take such a dark turn, but it's something that should at least be acknowledged. Even when we get a good new DPS hero like her, it can often lead the game overall into something of a dark age. Again, I think the current Overwatch dark age has less to do with Ashe specifically, and more to do with the community's division over Brigitte, and the fact that the developers haven't done or said anything publicly in weeks. Thankfully, we can expect to start getting Winter Wonderland teasers this week, if there hasn't already been one by the time you're watching this, so hopefully that will start to lighten things up for a little while. Getting back to Ashe though, she's still a fantastically fun and well-balanced hero that I'm glad is in the game. However, her addition sadly means another 4 months without a new tank or support hero, which I think hasn't been mixing too well with a lot of the general low morale that much of the community has been going through lately. But hopefully things will be getting better soon, and if nothing else, I've been having a blast playing Ashe in Deathmatch, so maybe that'll hold us over until Hero 30 next year. But these have just been my long-term thoughts on Ashe. Let me know how you feel about her at this point by commenting down below. Are you still enjoying her, or do you feel we should have gotten someone else? Be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and share it with a friend if you really liked it. Subscribe, follow me on Twitter, and hit the bell to keep up with all my future Overwatch news and content. This is Master Ian Gamer signing off, and until next time, try out Ashe in Deathmatch, and have a great day.